afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again doing what I do, walking along in beautiful locations such as this, and giving my thoughts and opinions on what's happening in the world. If it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing here today. If you're a returning subscriber, all 851 of you, I think that there are today, thank you one and all for being here. It really is I'm humbled by how many people join me for these walks, so thank you one and all for being here. So today, by the title, we are finally going to do a breakdown of the new Matrix Resurrection movie. Now, anybody who's been here before or has watched the intro knows I'm a huge Matrix fan, absolutely massive Matrix fan. But there was I wasn't able to see the new Matrix film because of the regulations and the restrictions that we had here in the UK that barred people like me, the outsiders, the thinkers, the questioners of everything that's going on right now from going to see a movie, because obviously it's too dangerous. So, given that I couldn't go to the movies, I, in my usual way, I put it to the universe, to God, to universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, I don't mind. I put it out there and thought, I need to find a way that I can get to see this movie. And, you know what? The universe delivered in the strangest way you can possibly imagine through one of you wonderful people who subscribe to my channel. The G-Man from the comic book G-Spot is an absolute legend. I cannot thank you enough, so thank you, G-Man. You know how special you are. Thank you so much. And while we're on the subject of the G-Man over at the comic book G-Spot channel on YouTube, check it out. I'll have the link in the description box down below. Reason being, next Sunday morning, we're talking live on a live show. It's going to be very early in the morning my time, so it's about 6, I think, in the morning my time. But like I say, I'll have the link in the description down below so you can go and check it out. It'll be a great interview. Great bunch of guys. Check it out. Anyway, back to the subject, The Matrix. So, after much thought, I watched it. As I say, thanks to G-Man. In completely random circumstances, I get to see it. And it took me a few days to process, because I wasn't sure exactly what they were trying to say in the movie, but I hope that I've got it right in my head, and I'm going to try and explain the whole Matrix trilogy, quadrilogy, in one video as best I can. Alright, so I'll have to get started because I'm going to do this really quick. Okay, now The Matrix came out originally in 1999, done by two brothers, the Wachowski brothers, who, from my understanding, didn't write the original story. It was written by somebody else, sold it to the studio, and the studio allowed the Wachowskis to make it. My understanding, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. So, the original three movies, the original movie, The Matrix, back in 1999, was the best movie ever made, and it still is, by far. I'm not going to try and quantify that, because it is. If you don't understand, then you don't know what The Matrix is about. But after today, maybe you will, and you'll have a better appreciation. So, The Matrix came out originally in 1999, took the world by storm, and essentially what it did was it brought philosophy into the mainstream. What's philosophy? It's the questions that we've always asked ourselves from the beginning of time, since we've become self-aware. Who am I? What am I here for? Is this real? How do I know it's real? Okay? These are the questions we've been asking ourselves. How can we quantify this reality with what we see? Because if our eyes can be tricked, our ears can be tricked, and all of our senses, our sensory inputs can be tricked by what that input is, then is it real? Now, before we really get into it, you need to understand. Now, if you haven't seen The Matrix, hang on, stop this video right now and go and watch it. I'm disgusted with you. just watch it. Not the new one, the old one. You have to see that first, okay? But there's going to be there's spoilers in here, so if you haven't seen it, please don't watch, because I don't want you to get it ruined for you. But for everybody else, let's go. Firstly, you need to understand what The Matrix is. No one can tell you what The Matrix is. You need to see it for yourself. And I'm going to try and put it in a mental picture for you today, and hopefully it will become clear what The Matrix is and what the machines are. Okay? Because you need to understand both in order to understand what the movie's about, and especially Resurrections. So, Firstly, let's talk about the machines. What are the machines? Right, the machines are the corporate world that we live in, okay? So the machines create the matrix, being the reality that we experience through our lives. Okay, I'll quantify that as well. So imagine the machines being corporations, government, media, right? That's the machines who create the rules that we all live under, which is the matrix. The matrix is a system of control for our lives. Right, so if the corporations, let's see if I can sort of stretch that out a bit further. If the corporations, the 6 of them control all the world's media, okay? 6 of them control all the movies, all the television, radio, you name it, 6 corporations. But above them, BlackRock, State Street. So who really controls the world? Okay? So the machines is the actual the construct, the thing that's constructing the matrix, this reality that we experience as reality. The corporations and it's not just the corporations, government departments, everything in our lives shapes us into who we are through everything that we come into contact with, being from the moment you're born, every toy you play with, every food you eat, every advert you see, every television program you watch, every movie you watch, everything you come into contact with your entire life, everything you learn in school is all coming from the machine. So the machine is programming you with the world that we see around us as being the world that we experience as reality, with that reality that they transpose over our lives, with everything that we learn from the moment we're born to the moment we die. So we are in the reality that they create. Okay? Now, when we're talking about the reality that they create, let's have a look at, some of how is this possible that I'm talking about corporations controlling our world? Okay? Let's go into that a little bit. So, let's look at the technocracy of our world right now. So we're looking at Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, okay? The big 4, the FANG I think they call them. Facebook, Apple, well, I can't remember what the other ones are, and Google. Anyway, big corporations, massive corporations control what we see, the information that we get, the information we don't get. If you want to do a little experiment to find out exactly what I'm talking about, go and type in a search into Google and the same search into DuckDuckGo. Okay? So let's try something innocuous like Clinton body count. Try that in Google, see what results you get. Try images, or but Google, try that, Clinton body count, and then do the same thing in DuckDuckGo. Now, when we talk in terms of looking up information, search engines, everybody says, "Oh, don't worry, I'll Google it." So that is part of our lexicon now. It's part of our lives. It is now part of our reality. That word is now synonymous with search engine. Google. See how it works? Programming. Now, when they're in control of the information, all the information, and the search engine results, and you can say, well, that's just what people are searching for, but it's not. That's the whole point. Now, I'll quantify that a bit further as well. So, Google was asked and did supply a internet search engine for China called Project Dragonfly. It was a Google for China, so they could decide what people could see and what people couldn't. Now, does that sound like a form of control to you? Sounds like a system of control to me. So, if you understand that the machines in the matrix are the corporations, the government, all the controlling mechanisms of the world, what's built this, government departments, schools, education departments, everything, every corporation, every government department, all those kind of things make the machines who make the matrix, which is the systems of control that control our thought and the way that we interact with each other and the information that we can get. Now, history is a funny one because history is written by the winners. Now, the problem is that if you're controlling that history of what actually happened, then you're controlling their reality. You see how it works? So the reality that we're living in is a false reality because it's being changed all the time, right in front of our faces. And then when you question that reality that we all know was real, then they say, no, I never said that. Dr. Fauci, prime example. No masks, mask. Okay. So now that you know what the machines are, and you know what the matrix is. The matrix is the systems, everything that you experience in this world. Everything. Everything you see, everything you read, everything you hear, everything you come into contact with is a system that was built by the machines to create the reality that we experience. You with me? Okay, so we are living in their created reality. So when I say none of this is real, now you understand what reality I mean. They create the reality that you experience. So, knowing that, let's get into the movie. Because if you don't understand that, then you don't everything else it doesn't matter. So the movie, the directors and the writer, whoever that may be, wrote the original Matrix. The complexity of the original movie, and the original 3 movies even, and the depth and the breadth of what that movie did. Not only was it philosophical, asking those deep questions that we should all be asking while we're here. Who am I? What am I here for? What's real? How do I know it's real? That was the first step. What it also did was introduce us to Gnostic Christianity. Now, the Gnostic Christianity, the tenets of that are that Jesus was a real person, that he was married to a woman who was pregnant with his child when he died, and she fled and left and went to where? To France. Now, this is a story. So when she fled bearing Jesus' child, she went to France, and she was looked after by the French royal family at the time. What was their name? The Merovingian. So the Merovingian were very powerful at the time because they had knowledge, and knowledge is power. You with me now? Okay. So it introduced us to philosophy, introduced us to Gnostic Christianity, and it also introduced us to the idea of we're living in a simulation that's out of our control. But it also showed us that if you recognized that system of control, that you could escape it. Now, if you go through the whole first movie, look at all the characters' names, okay? Neo is an anagram of one, the one. Neo, new, okay? So in the first movie, Neo is representation of Jesus. When he dies at the end of the movie, he gets shot and comes back to life. How long? 72 seconds he's dead for. 3 days, Jesus, resurrection. You see where we're going with this? Morpheus is the Greek god of dreams. The King Nebuchadnezzar was the first artificer of metals. All the characters, Seti, the little girl, the god of destruction, that is the Hindu god of destruction and rebirth. Seti, the little girl that made the Matrix, if you remember. Who else is there? Trinity, obviously, if you know anything about Christianity or the Bible. The Trinity, the Holy Trinity is God, God, Jesus and the Holy Spirit, right? So Trinity is there as well. So it's very, there's a lot of religious, theologian messages in there as well. And it also points to, and it's done in such a way to talk in terms of computer language, because we are living in a digital society, and increasingly we're controlled more and more by the digital world that we live in. Because we've all got a phone attached to the end of our arm constantly, and our society is so instant that the message can be put in your hand from the moment it's conceived, made up, to the moment you get it is very, very quick. It's instant. Not like back in the day where we used to have to print things out and had to go out to the newspaper shop. Now it's in your fist in a second. So the reason that the movie was done in such a way, in computer code, was it was done also that way because it's ones and zeros. It's binary code, ones and zeros, yes, no, on, off, to display the duality of this existence, this reality that we live in. There's always an opposite. There's an equal and opposite reaction. Hence, Neo and Agent Smith. The more powerful Neo got, the more powerful Agent Smith got, because there's always balance in the universe. That's the yin and the yang, the dark to light, all these things. It's all about balance. And the whole point with Neo and Agent Smith fighting was all balance in that world, in that reality, that matrix that was created by the machines. So that balance had to be restored. That's why there was a big fight at the end of the day. There was a big war because the balance had to be restored. Now, when you start to unpack the new movie and the lines that were in it that were delivered by the actors, this is why I had to take a few days to process this, because it could be done could be processed, it could be understood in two different ways. I'm going to explain both, okay? Now, there's a divine law in the universe that if you're going to do something to someone, then you have to tell them first. Okay, so that's the rule. If you're going to do something, if you're going to con someone or do something, you have to tell them. But you can tell them in such a way they don't even know they're being told. But as long as their silence is acquiescence, it's a yes. So if you don't say no, then it's a yes. It's an automatic yes. That's how it works. So even if you don't know that you're being told what's going on, you're being told what's going on through all this kind of pop culture stuff, like movies and games and all these kind of things that we're interacting with on a daily basis. These are the things that are giving you the message of what they're going to do. Now, the Matrix, I don't believe is like that. Okay, I'll explain why. Now, there's lots of references in the first movie, in the last song in the movie. Well, actually, just before the movie finishes, Neo's on the telephone and he says, "I know you're listening. I don't know where we go from here. You know, I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. Where we go from here, I leave up to you." Okay? Now, the whole idea of that was the people need to see, and then they can make a choice. Now, in the movie, choice is an illusion, right? And in this reality, choice is an illusion as well. Okay, so the problem with choice in the movie and in this reality is it's an illusion of choice, because no matter what you choose, you're still in the system. Now, in the movie as well, you have the agents act on anybody who's still plugged into the system. So anybody who's still in it is acting as an agent, or can be an agent, because the system is self-policing, as evidenced by what's been going on for the last 2 years. Now, you don't have to police the internet, because your friends, they'll do it for you. Right there on the internet for you, right there on your social media. And that's not deliberately set up either. All social media is a feedback mechanism to see, back to the machines, to see what's working, what isn't. You understand? Everything's a feedback mechanism. All their social media, it's all a feedback mechanism. What's working, what's not. Let's feed another story in there to get people's emotional response going, because we have to make them hate something. Or hate each other, turn on each other so they don't turn on us. Funny though, how at Davos, there was a lady who was speaking at Davos who said, you know, it's wonderful that last year we all found that the world's elite, they call themselves the elite. The world's elite get along better than we ever have. But what we've seen is that all the other people in every country, all the other people, can you imagine? Calling themselves elite and then calling us the other people, the ones who run the world, who actually build things, who actually do things. The world's elite is calling you other people, and then they're pushing back on us. We want to create something wonderful, but they keep on pushing back on us. How dare they? Those filth, they know we're trying to look out for them, except they're not, right? Now, what the problem is anybody who's the people who are fighting for the machine, as you know who they are right now, right? These are the people that are screaming in your face in behalf of the government and the corporations telling you what you have to do. They're the people that are trapped in the machines. They're asleep in the game, who can't see what's going on. They're in the Matrix. They're lost in the Matrix, and they will act on behalf of that system. They'll fight to protect the system because that's the only system they know. You with me? Self-policing system. Genius. Self-policing by telling the people who are deep asleep in the Matrix, those people are bad. They should be locked up if they don't agree with you, because you agree with us. We're the corporations. We're the ones who are keeping you safe, remember? We're giving you the special poison. We're giving it to you for free. Except it's not free though, is it? Could cost you your life. But that's a different discussion altogether. Now, the new movie, if you watch the movie, I mean, it's so far left, it's unbelievable. You know, you have to have so many of people of a certain skin tone. You have to have a person, you know, with blue hair. You know, it's left. Okay, it's left. The story has been simplified, dumbed down to an audience that obviously that appeals to. That's not me, but I appreciate the fact that they did it, because obviously the younger audience, it has to be spelled out for them nowadays, because if you don't spell it out, it just what just happened? I don't get it. You know, walking out of cinema. In fact, I spoke to someone today, and I love it to pieces, I do, and I said, what do you think about that line that the architect said at the end of the movie, which we're going to get to in a minute, don't worry. And she said, oh, I didn't think about it. She didn't think about it, as will most people who see that movie, who are in the game, lost in the Matrix. They don't think about it because it scares them. Now, in the movie, Neo and Trinity get put back into the Matrix after the third movie, because they recognize, the Matrix, the machines, recognize that they require these people who recognize the game for what it is, and who are going to wake up anyway to be in it, because then they're controllable. Okay? We're all controllable in the game because we're all reliant on what? Money. Money is the ultimate control. The control of the creation of money. Who creates the money? They control the money. They control you through that creation of money. We're going to do another video about that, taxation of money and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to get too deep into it today, but the creation of money is another system of control, yet another part of the Matrix that keeps you locked up. And even the people who are awake, we're still slaves to the money. Okay? So in this fourth movie, what they've done is they've trivialized Neo's life by making Neo back to Thomas Anderson again, and a game designer who is designing a game. He originally wrote the original 3 games of the Matrix games in the movie, but now the studio wants him to do another one, the 4th game in the Matrix, and the studio is putting pressure on him in the movie to do it. They're saying, well, it's so successful the first time, now you've got to do it. And the whole discussion of that first part of the movie is all about, I don't want to do this, but the corporation's making me do it. You with me? Okay, so he starts designing this game. He comes into contact with Trinity. Obviously, love is the main key and the theme of the movie, that the bond between them, the love, is so strong that it can conquer all. Okay, it's a love story. And as the movie progresses through, it reveals the corporatism of what the Matrix is, and the control mechanisms of the Matrix. And that as we go through, and people like us who are aware and awake, who are pointing these things out to people, they can see where the holes are and start to patch those holes and cover those holes. Oh, geez, we let that information out about the CIA doing certain things in other countries. Oh, okay. patch that hole, make sure we can never get that one done again. So you see how it works. It is all about, it's a control mechanism again, by having people like me, having big names out there talking. I'm not one of those big names, but have that information out there so then they know where the holes are to fill up. Genius. Absolute work of art. And when they're talking about in the movies, this is the 6th iteration of the Matrix, that's what it means. We will eventually get it right so that you won't even know. The metaverse is their next step. Because then you are trapped in a computer screen. And if you dare to step out of line, you'll just be cut off from the social credit score. Now, in the movie, there's 2 lines that I absolutely love. Now, when Neo and Trinity are in the shop, in the coffee shop, and Trinity has to decide whether she wants to go back to her life in the Matrix or take a chance and go with Neo. She's not even sure 100% that that what she experienced before was real, but she has these memories, you know, there's something there. So she's going to have to take a chance, a leap of faith, where she has to either go back to her husband, which is in the game, and the children, who just happen to come in right at that moment and say, "Mummy, come with us quickly, we have to go." More guilt. And this is the messages of guilt that we've been getting for the last 2 years. Remember, this is psychological manipulation. This is how it works. This is how the Matrix does you, through psychological, emotional manipulation. Make you fearful. It's a Hegelian dialectic, it's called. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, you react. Oh, don't worry, we've got the solution. Okay? Now, in the movie, when they get to see the architect, the new architect, Trinity kicks him in the face and says, "That's for using the children." Hollywood, that's for using the fucking children. Hollywood. Okay, not just Hollywood, but you know. Okay, and then the second line that she delivers, or when they were talking to him, and they were like, we're gonna show the people, and he says, "These sheeple like my world. Look around you. Who do you think the movie's talking to?" They knew that youngsters were going to go and watch this movie. They knew that all these millennials are wearing these fucking stupid things over their face and are doing whatever the corporations and the government tell them, the machines, through the Matrix, tell them. This movie just screamed in their face, "Stop doing what the machine tells you. You're in the Matrix." Right. And then just as the final cherry on the top, which I think is a stroke of genius, well done, both of the brothers transitioned over to be women in this reality that we call reality, to show you how unreal the reality that you call reality is, by transitioning from a man to a woman right before your eyes. What was the song at the end of the movie again? Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. Now let's have a quick talk about Rage Against the Machine. This band came out, did this music, Rage Against the Machine, pushed back against the corporations, all this kind of stuff. But yet, during this whole bullshit lockdowns nonsense that we've been living through for 2 years, Rage Against the Machine did a concept. What do they insist on? That everybody had a passport. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me! Rage Against the Machine, fuck you guys. But anyway, on a positive note, now you understand. We're being told every day, we're being explained what's happening in the world through the prism of a movie to show you the corporatism that controls every moment of your life, from the moment you're born till the moment you die. But you know what? There is a way out. See it for what it is, then take steps to extricate yourself from that system through knowledge. I will be doing an interview very, very soon with a gentleman that's going to be explaining the power of words and how you can escape the Matrix using the system that we're going to put together for you. Join me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you one and all for being here. Like I say every single end of the video, go out into the world, do good, be good. You can change the world with the words, the way that you interact with each other, and the thoughts you have in your mind. So go out and do it. We can change the world together. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.